welcome to RealAg Live, everybody. Appreciate you tuning in today. We're going to have a lot of fun talking machinery. It's a topic I know that many of you across Canada are extremely interested in on the farm. So if you want to participate in today's discussion, ask our guests questions, or you have a comment, all you have to do is enter your text into the comment box, whether you're watching on Twitter, YouTube, or Facebook. And your participation really is what makes this show so unique. There's nothing else like it right now in ag media where you get to participate in the discussion and the interview. Let's bring in to today's guest. Looking forward to this. We're talking to Torey Hadland. He is the Regional Sales Manager for Canada for CLAAS. Hey, Torey, how are you?
Good. How are you, Shaun?
Hey, man, I'm doing great. This is going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to hearing what is going on with CLAAS. It's been a very, very unusual year here in 2020. What's everything going on with COVID? What's been the experience on the equipment manufacturing side?
From our side of things, it didn't change a whole bunch. Especially with us, most of the field travelers, we work out of home anyways. And right on both our worldwide manufacturing facilities plus our home base in Omaha, Nebraska, they took the precautions early on. So we weren't really hit with anybody getting sick with that matter. So there's maybe a 2-week delay that some of our suppliers couldn't supply the factory and things like that. But overall, it is business as usual.
Okay, good to hear. Good to hear. People staying safe. Okay, lots of expansion plans. A lot of stuff happening with CLAAS. It's nice to see some added competition in the machinery market in Canada. What's kind of driving this right now?
I think CLAAS has always been known for offering brighter solutions for the end user. So I think the machinery speaks for itself. We have a solution for basically any market segment we participate in. And then also, I think our biggest change has been the last few years has been focused on distribution. We've added a whole bunch of new dealers throughout Canada, and in some instances, we've either expanded existing dealers, whether it's through secondary, third locations, and or adding to their product portfolio. We got basically in the tractor business in Canada about 4 or 5 years ago, and we're just starting to get that rolling, and just gives our dealers more solutions through CLAAS to offer.
You know, it's interesting. A couple weeks ago on the Farmer Rapid Fire on RealAg Radio, I asked our farmer guests the question, are you thinking about buying any machinery this winter? Like, what's on your wish list now that, for the most part, for sure in Western Canada, harvest is coming to a pretty good halt here. And it's funny, no matter what they said, whether it was combines or tractors or whatever, everybody always throws in, it's about the dealer. Service. Critical that I don't know where you probably have some survey results that tell you how important that service component is in that purchasing, but I know it is super important.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree 100%. Every year we do the surveys as well. And number one, it always comes back to dealer. And I think price is always 4 or 5 down the list. Talking to farmers, you'd never guess that. Usually the first thing they say is you're too expensive. But truth be known, when you peel back the layers, it always comes back to dealer service. That's why we recognize that we need to increase our distribution. And as a result, having more dealers, better trained dealers, and offering more packages to our customers, we encompass the whole portfolio. We have our training center in Regina for Canadian dealers that we opened about 5 years ago. And even having that allows almost every single one of our dealer technicians to get trained, and we keep the cost down for them. And that way we get full participation in them coming to training throughout the winter time.
Do you have one of those combine simulators in Canada? Do you know the one? I've seen them at some of the big shows like Agritechnica, where you're in like a simulator, and it's as real life combining experience as you possibly could ever imagine. Do you have one of those out here to train dealers and farmers?
We don't have it in Canada. We do have it in Omaha, Nebraska, though.
Oh,
yeah, and I know exactly what you're talking about. It's pretty neat.
It is so cool. Like, it is a real life experience. It's not.
Yeah.
It is farming simulator is one thing. This is something that is it is quite amazing.
Yeah.
Speaking of harvest, It's this has been a lot better year in Western Canada than last year. Of course, in Eastern Canada, the corn harvest is really just getting revved up now. But I think across the country, farmers have a much more positive outlook here this year compared to last year.
Yeah, I would agree. The weather cooperated much better than the 5-year average. See a lot of farmers that were done a month earlier than last year. I think the heat a little bit and the lack of moisture might have hurt yields a little bit in some areas. But overall, I think is just a much more enjoyable harvest for everybody. Just we had a good stretch of weather that we were able to hammer through and get the crop off. So
yeah. Yeah, we're going to talk about efficiency here in a little bit, but I want to hear about the new, I promised that we would get to the new Lexion combines. Let's talk about them.
Sure. So this year was the first full production of our hybrid machines, which is the 7,000 series, which is on a standard frame, and then the 8,000 series, which is pretty much the biggest seller for us in Western Canada for sure, and even in Eastern Canada. Biggest improvements to that is we increased our threshing system and our separation system to increase capacity and throughput. And we've also just made everything bigger. So hoppers are bigger, faster unload, just everything to optimize the machine and be the most efficient we can for the farmer.
With combines, does it just seem like the trend bigger is just better? We just continue to try to increase capacity every year?
Yeah, I think that's exactly it. Especially this year was an exception, but with the years prior, with the inclemental weather, I think you could never have too much harvesting power, right? In the last few years, we have such a short window, and especially in Western Canada, that farther north you go, you need the big machines to get the crop off.
Yeah, and the more capacity you can get out of a single machine, it prevents you from having to. And I know you want to sell more combines, but from a farmer's perspective, it may, if you can get away with one as opposed to having two, that makes a difference.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have seen trends where that has been the case, where depending on the size of the farm, we're able to go from 3 machines to 2 machines, especially with our technology now. We have cruise pilot on it, so the combine will adjust on its own based on the amount of material coming through. It'll optimize the combine with CMOS threshing, automatic threshing, CMOS separation, CMOS cleaning, where basically it fully optimizes the combine. We're less stress on the operators as well, so they can run longer hours on a machine if they have to. If they have to get more help in there, it's very easy to train because it'll do itself. So technology plays a big part of this too.
Yeah, let's talk about that. How does it do that measurement? So it looks at the biomass that's coming into the feeder house, and then it adjusts the speed of the machine, or is it using like camera eye out ahead to tell the machine what's coming? How does it do that?
So it's got a roller in the center of the feeder house, so it senses the amount of material coming into the combine. So based on where you have that set, it'll always try to maintain that speed. So if you hit a big heavy patch, more materials coming in, it'll slow up the combine. Hit a light patch, it'll speed it up automatic.
Huh. That is like at some point, put a mannequin in there.
Yeah. We're almost to the point where all you need is a seat weight.
you put your lunch kit on the seat.
Keep the safety switch activated.
And we're going to get to some of the other features here, but I want to make sure I don't miss it. We've got a color change.
Yes. Yeah, we went back to our roots, so it's now the CLAAS seed green color. For many years, the Lexion combine was yellow and black. And this year, now all CLAAS machinery in Canada is the same color with the seed green.
And what's the feedback been from people? Are farmers happy about that? Like the old paint scheme, the kind of yellow and black was pretty cool too. So what's been the feedback?
Yeah, it's been very positive. We've had a few guys that I think no matter what happens, they don't like change. But now that they're into it, and to be honest, from their standpoint, a lot of them were very surprised we didn't do it sooner. Just recognizing that CLAAS is a worldwide brand. And every product we offer in various parts of the world is the sea green color. So it makes sense from a branding perspective, and sales have reflected the feedback from the marketplace. So
yeah,
it's been very positive.
What about some of the other features that you're focused on? Like, obviously, capacity is important and it is one of the critical drivers of what machine somebody buys. But there's other features as well that come into the purchase decision. I'm thinking like fuel efficiency as an example. What are some of those other things?
Yeah, so fuel efficiency is a big one. Um, Basically, there's a lot of times where switching crop to crop can eat up a lot of time as well. That gets overlooked. So pretty much now to change from canola to wheat, everything's done from the cab. It's push the button. We have threshing segments that can be activated from the cab. So just things like that. We have auto lube, so less time spent on maintenance on the combine. So it's just fuel efficiency, grain loss is a big one. Sure, a lot of combines can go through the crop, but the biggest thing, you spend a lot of time and money to grow the crop. You want to make sure you keep it all. So the CLAAS combine for sure is one of the best on the market to retain grains. So
Unload speed, is it still as important? Like, when we're dumping in trucks on the side of the field, unload speed is important because that's downtime. But we're seeing
yeah,
so many grain carts now in the market. Is unload speed as critical as it once was?
yeah, definitely. So we've increased our hopper size. We can get up to 510 bushels. So quite a bit big improvement on that. And our unload speeds now are 5.1 bushels per second. So you don't want to be held up waiting for a truck, right? So the faster you can unload, get the grain carts going. And now we have the big tanks that you get a little bit of breathing room as well to let the grain cart empty and get back. With that too, we've also increased the ground speed on all machines to 25 miles an hour. So especially some of these big operators that they might be quite a few miles away, they would definitely appreciate the fast road speed. So
Kicker and road gear.
Kicker and road gear, yeah.
Okay, are you exploring some steering wheel, some options on steering that don't involve a wheel like some others, or what are you guys doing?
Yeah, there's talk about that. It's yeah. Unfortunately, I'm not at liberty to discuss any future development, but
Okay, I tried.
yeah.
That's funny. What about header options? Obviously, the header is a critical component of it. What about headers?
Yeah, we have various options for headers, but the one I'm most excited about is this year was full production of our Convio Flex Draper, and we've had very good feedback with that. We sold quite a few this year, and the performance has been exceptional. It ranges from 30 feet to 45 feet, and 9-inch flex range. You can go from flex to rigid within 2 seconds at the push of a button. Automatic belt speed, so it's best thing about it is, especially in Canada, North America as a whole, drapers are definitely the header people want, and this is a awesome fit for what we need. It can easily be converted to straight cutting canola, and yeah, fantastic head.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about how you choose what products end up in the Canadian market, and just to provide clarification to that. We've been to Agritechnica now 3 times, and we actually always start in the building that CLAAS is in, which is pretty cool. So that's how we spend our first day. And what's interesting is that as you look at what across all the different products, there's some things that are not sold in Canada. How does a global machinery manufacturer decide which units, maybe models or even some of the implements, how do you decide what actually ends up in a market like Canada?
Yeah, that's a good question. The biggest thing is, I guess, the industry potential. Is there a sizable market to bring new product in? If we're building it in Europe already, for example, is it a fit in North America? Would be number 2. I always use the example. When we do the Agritechnica tour as well, we go to the CLAAS farm, and they have the coolest header you ever seen. It's about a 20-foot auger head that will fold in half for transport, and it's the best thing since sliced bread. But who in Canada is going to buy a 20-foot head, right?
Yeah.
So it's just got to meet the market demands. And number 2, are we competitive enough in the marketplace to provide value that it would be a fit for our dealers and our customers.
Yeah, and I actually think the fit for the dealer part is a really good
Yep.
comment because obviously you can decide to bring whatever model you want to the market, but it's got to be something that the dealers think they can sell too, right?
Yeah, the only way this works is if there's a three-way partnership. We have to have a partnership with our dealer, and our dealers have to have a partnership with the end user. If it's not working for all three parties, it's going to be short-lived.
Yeah. Hey, Jesse's got a question. He's watching on Facebook. He wants to know why so many monitors in the combine. Can it not be combined into one monitor?
So on the new one, depends what model he has now. So on the new machines, we can get all the CMOS. So that's all the optimization technology and the main function of the CBIS on one monitor. We don't offer our own GPS system. However, we are open to pretty much all manufacturers. So we have to get the monitor through them. So it's usually a Trimble, a John Deere, Ag Leader, Topcon are the top four. And then the other monitors he's probably talking about is if you go with the backup camera, additional one. So we can't integrate that yet. If you just have the straight backup camera, it's on the main CBIS monitor. But the minute you go to GPS, you have to have two monitors.
Okay. It's and a lot of I think in monitor design, a lot of it all comes down to the ease of how easy it is for the user to use that monitor and work their way around, because some of us are tech geeks and some of us aren't, and all kinds are driving the combine.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So that's why with our GPS, we've decided to go the route to have it open. So if, for example, maybe the farm runs a certain brand of tractors on his farm and he runs his sprayer with all the same GPS system, that way we can move it into the combine, and at least that part of the application he's familiar with. The combine, he'll have to still learn our monitor, but at least he doesn't have to learn two different systems.
Yeah. Question here from Dorian. Will CLAAS bring self-driving harvesters into the market without a cabin? Is that something that you're looking at?
Oh, I'd to be honest, I would say that every manufacturer is looking at that, some facet. When and how, I think we're a ways away with all the liabilities and everything else out in the world right now.
Especially the road part of it, especially
yeah, exactly.
To be able to have a cabless tractor combine. It's trying to figure out how you get from field to field. You mentioned the combine's going 25 miles an hour. The cabless combine is not doing that. You need to figure that part out.
Yeah, I'm sure the technology's there and they can build it, but it's just all the other safety things that go along with it, right?
Yeah. You want to mention anything about the CLAAS tractor lineup?
Sure. So we have gotten into the tractor market more and more the last couple of years. So we've had the Xerion four-wheel drive for quite a few years now. And then the last roughly 4 years, we've had the Axion 800 series tractors. So that's 200 to 300 horsepower. And then we have a few dealers. We're doing a slow intro with the Axion 900 series tractor, which is 300 to 440 horsepower. New to that range is we also offer a rear wheel track option on the Axion 900 as well. And also we have pre-series at this moment. The Xerion will be offered on a 4-track as well. So we actually have two in Canada on ground now, one in Saskatchewan, one in Manitoba. So one thing about CLAAS is if you had to ask me, my boss would always say, Torey, you can sell what you don't have. So, of course, we're always pushing to get more and more product quicker. But doing slow, gradual growth like this, I think we avoid mistakes happening. So we are full range 800 series now, full range 900 series. And hopefully there will be other tractors in the future.
The 900, is that the one with the tracks in the front and wheels in the back? Is that correct?
No, other way.
Other way around.
Tracks on the back.
Wheels in the front, tracks in the back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly right.
I saw that one at Agritechnica
Yeah.
I have some really good pictures of it. I should have brought them with me. I could have put them up on the screen. You can go to our Agritechnica coverage on realagriculture.com. You can see we got some great videos actually at the CLAAS booth. Why the combo? What's the advantages of that?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Yeah. I honestly don't know what I'm assuming it's for tighter steering.
Yeah, it looks pretty
To
cool.
have the wheels on the front, but yeah.
Well, and I'm going back 4 years ago. I don't even know if this is even in the market anymore, so just bear with me. But there was a track machine where if I remember right, the tracks tilted up when you were going to turn to try to not have like the rubbing when you turned on the track, and so it would tilt, and then it would sort of like pivot on the front points of the track. It was pretty cool, but I don't know if it's even in the market. So
we actually have that on our forage harvesters. So we've just introduced tracks on our self-propelled forage harvesters, and when you're turning, the front part of the track will lift up a little bit so you don't damage the crop. It's slick.
It is pretty sweet.
Yeah,
there was a demo. There was a demo that was going on like a turn, as only Agritechnica could. There was like flashing lights and some bling, and they had the tracks and they were demoing. It was pretty neat.
Yeah.
So for me, growing up in southern Alberta, when I think of CLAAS, I think of forage harvesters. Lindsay has a question watching on Facebook. What about the forage line? Is that growing in Canada? What I see around here is hard to grow when you have pretty dominating position.
Yeah, so the industry the last few years have been pretty flat in Canada, which is a small industry. There's roughly 100 units, all brands sold in Canada, plus or minus. And our market share has been stable and a healthy stable. There's, like you said, there's not a whole bunch of room for us to grow the CLAAS forage harvester market share.
Yeah. Question here from Jim. I got to add it here. Hold on. How are dealers working through the higher numbers, 1 to 4 year old inventory versus 8 years or more?
It's definitely a challenge, right? So I think one of the biggest thing is the 1 to 4. You take a 1 year old trade, it's pretty hefty value too, right? So one thing we offer our dealers, and our dealers are doing a pretty good job with, is we've introduced Maxi Care warranty. So basically that's we're able to sell these 1 to 4 year old units with extended warranty, so it's more attractable to the end user. We have different hour options, so we can customize it too, and we have different deductibles, so it's a very affordable option. So it promotes some of these guys to keep their machines a little bit longer, and or it's a good marketing tool for somebody looking to buy a 2, 3, 4 year old machine. So we are looking at avenues to do that.
Yeah, managing the used of 1 year old machine, like you said, there's not a lot of there's depreciation in that machine, but it's not. There's a long ways to go yet.
Yeah, absolutely right.
Yeah. Are we still seeing a lot of that kind of, and I know you're with the manufacturer, not dealer, so just tell me if I'm way off base here, but is there still a lot of like those multi-year deals happening in the market, or are those kind of, are dealers kind of avoiding those now?
No, there's still a fair bit, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's slowed down a little bit, but there's still a fair chunk out there.
Okay. I got a question here via text from Lonnie, wanting to know about, can I trust the auto settings on my combine?
Ooh, that's a very good question.
Yeah.
That's a very, trust will have to be gained once you check for yourself. So I wouldn't go to any combine no matter what and just hop into a crop and just go by the monitors, no matter what brand. I would throw the pans, calibrate the monitors to truly having the losses show what's reflected in the back based on sensitivity. And after you do that a few times, then you will trust it. But if you're a brand new operator, brand new machine, definitely not. You need to learn how to calibrate it.
You look at the sensors that are in a combine today versus even, I don't know, say 10 years ago. Man, there's a lot. Like, it has to be a lot. I don't know what fold it would be, but it's got to be terribly high.
Oh, absolutely. It's yeah, I don't even want to guess to say how many we do, but everything on that combine is being monitored. The beauty with ours is for the combine to function, the sensors are there already and the hardware is there. So if you do want to go to full automation or part automation, the hardware is there. So it's just a matter of an unlock code to make the systems work. You go to your dealer, it's like a subscription for satellite radio. It's there. If you want it, you pay for the subscription, you turn it on, and away you go.
How do you get feedback from growers? Now, I'm thinking in terms of like product development. I'm thinking of like improvements just from a general business. Like, I know a lot of manufacturers. You've got loyal customers, and obviously you're trying to acquire new ones too.
Yeah.
But you know, the growers are the ones that are using these machines. They're putting through the trials and tribulations. What's the feedback loop like?
Yeah. So we have focus groups for all product segments, whether it's foragers, combines, or tractors. And they're a broad range. It could various crops, various geography. So we want to get as big of a span as we can for the feedback. Plus, we also do clinics as well, where we get an opportunity to engage with end users, and we are in very, very tight knit with our dealers to make sure that we're getting their feedback as well. Because a lot of it, they can filter out truly what the issues are and what not. And so usually, especially in November, we circle back, we bring all our dealers in, and we go over all service and product issues. That gets relayed back to worldwide, and then they come back shortly with solutions. So it's a closed loop system, and we're always watching, because at the end of the day, we can think we're doing something right, but if our dealers and our customers telling us we're not, then we have a big problem, right?
Yeah, and a part of it too is understanding like what the grower is going to need 5 years from now, 10 years from now, because that factors into product development too.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a big part of it. One thing too that I will say that's that I like too, especially on the combine side, is we've had quite a few product managers that most of them have been either American or German, and they've worked in Omaha on the test team and the product management team. So they spent a ton of time in Canada with our growers and our big customers. And I can count, there's 4 of them that I know personally that are head of product management in some facet in Germany right now. So to have them seeing the knowledge firsthand and elevating in the ranks of the company so they can make decisions specific to Canada of what we need, it's pretty important. It's crucial because we all have a guess what's going to happen, but you gotta keep close tabs on it. And what fits in Eastern Europe does not fit in Canada, or vice versa potentially, right?
Now correct me if I'm wrong. I say choppers. The forage harvesters are they're the factories in Germany, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Where's the combine factory?
So we also have a line of combines in Harsfinkel. That's where the foragers are. The Zerians are built there, and then we also have the Lexion combines made there, the Tucano combine, and some other small ones. And then the ones for North America are Omaha, Nebraska. So we have roughly 55% or local content in Omaha, Nebraska.
Whenever I go on factory tours, the coolest thing is like I don't know why I think this, but it's the paint, like how they like some of the painting rooms and how they do that, and it is just amazing.
Yeah, it's quite the process to watch.
Yeah, and all of the and more like just like an auto plant, the robots and arms doing stuff. Like it is pretty cool to do those kinds of things. Obviously, right now with COVID, you're not taking a lot of growers on forage harvester tours. But...
Yeah, it's amazing to see the technology at the plant itself, just to build equipment.
Yeah, it is pretty spectacular. So, Torey, is there anything we didn't cover that you want to make sure that we mention? That was kind of...
No, the only thing forgot as well as next year's full production of our 6,000 series straw walker
Oh,
combines.
right. Yeah.
So it brings in all the features that we currently offer on the 7 and 8,000 new series, except it's a straw walker combine. So again, it has the bigger threshing area, more separation, and quite a bit more capacity than our current model. So
for that 6,000, where like what geographies do you think that would fit best in?
We do pretty good with it in Western Canada, even though it's not. A lot of people think walker combines are for cattle. It's not only for cattle. It's a big combine if you're doing canola, wheat. You might struggle if you get into high busheling oats or something like that, where walker might be the limiter, but it's a high value combine.
It start earlier and go later in the day? Is that
exactly
than a
right?
rotor? Yeah.
Yep. A little less maintenance and a little bit better price right from the get go too.
But if you do have a mixed farm and you do want to bale, it's
absolutely. You get quite a bit more bales per acre versus any rotor machine on the market.
Hey, great stuff. Hey, Torey, this has been a lot of fun. I really appreciate you joining us here today on RealAg Live. We got some great questions from the audience, and all the best to you.
Awesome. Thanks, Shaun.
Okay, everybody, tomorrow on RealAg Live, we are going to talk about the future of agricultural research. We're going to talk about some trends that we're seeing at Real Agriculture across the country, not just in Alberta, but also Ontario, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, and alike. So we're looking forward to that conversation. And make sure if you have any questions about the new Lexion combines or anything that CLAAS has to offer, make sure you visit their website and check it out. And I know they would love to talk to you and answer your questions, or of course, talk to your local dealer. Thanks everybody for getting real and getting connected with RealAg Live, and we'll talk again tomorrow. Cheers, everybody.